And welcome Tony Dell to the stage for some closing comments. Where are you going?
Thanks, Andrew. My first duty, though, is to announce that the winner of the ESEC chocolates is Digger from Whiskey's Wish. The accolades that came my way last night were quite humbling, but I must stress that this has been a complete team effort, and all the organisations involved will be on the screens probably as I speak. I have to make mention of the absolute surprise packet for me over the past 2 days is Kumi Taguchi. You've been a revelation. You were terrific in your panel discussion yesterday, and last night you were brilliant. To Miriam and Andrew, thank you. The quality of what we've seen for the 2 whole days would not have been possible without you. As I said at the opening, I don't for 1 minute pretend to fully understand the clinical details of what has happened in the past 2 days. It's a bit like me discussing batting with Greg Chappell. I know what's good or bad, but I got no idea how to do it. All I know is that I'm fortunate enough to cop the start of PTSD in Vietnam in 67, 68. But now I've been fortunate enough to be able to help engineer a really definitive way forward with this illness some 48 years later. When I was diagnosed in 2008, the level of awareness and sense of direction was about this high. 3 days ago, thanks to the media in general and the interest in this forum, pressure was brought to bear and we got a spurt on, and the level of awareness and sense of direction rose to about this high. Now, thanks to this incredible array of talent, expertise and dedication, the general public awareness may not have shifted much, but our sense of direction is now way up here. When I first started sounding out interest in this forum, I stressed this is not about point scoring. It had to be about inclusiveness. When I first sat down with Miriam and Andrew to plan the program, the word that was used the most was collaboration. And Andrew's been talking about that this afternoon. Everyone has been on the same page if we were going to achieve something good in 2 days. I promised the CDF and DVA there shouldn't be any negatives, and we've achieved that. Their input has been magnificent, and so has the input of our first responder personnel. I just hope that all of you people start to see the benefits of these 2 days a lot sooner than you might have expected last week. When I first spoke about this forum to some of the greatest PTSD-oriented minds in this country, they all said without hesitation, "I'm in." I was so chuffed with this reaction. They were like kids in a lolly shop. To me, that was enthusiasm. Here is a chance to work with like-minded people and to think years in advance and not just about today. When I spoke to Dennis Richardson, he said, "I'll back you if you can ensure this will go somewhere and not just be a talk fest." I said, "I promise." And the support from Defence and CDF has been magnificent. This was always a way to get a national perspective and to plan a way forward which we can agree with. To have David Forbes, Richard Bryant and Sandy McFarlane say yes immediately, and then later collaborate to try to get Rakesh Jetley here spoke volumes. What I have discovered is that between you all, you have most of the answers. We just have to work together to make them work. I want to thank everyone who's taken part. You're far too many to name names, but to Rakesh, Rick Collins and Jen Chouinard, thanks so much for travelling so far and sharing. The others know who they are, and I know that your thanks will be the satisfaction of being involved in something very special. I've constantly touted that we could create some history here. I'm sure we have. Thank you so much for being here and taking part in such an important 2 days. We now have the job of collating all of this invaluable information and going to the government with some very positive direction. The video from the Prime Minister, which you saw yesterday, shows that they are serious. I fronted the recent Senate inquiry, and I've seen some of the Hansard reports and media reports. It seemed to me that the darkness and the lack of real understanding was still a little bit evident. I know that all organisations involved in this space are passionate about what they do, and everyone is chipping away in small licks here and there. But maybe for every single person that they help, there could be dozens languishing elsewhere for a whole raft of reasons. I do hope that the past few days we've addressed the total picture properly, and this leads to some national answers. I would hope that the sense of collaboration that has existed here will continue, and that a few of the people here will work with us in the future to achieve the goals we have set. Too often in the past, events like this stagnate as soon as the first bottle is opened at the end. I promise every person in this country who has PTSD, this will not happen here. Remember the orange ribbons. To the fabulous team at CCM, John, Katie, Ashley, Nev and Jess, thank you so much for making this happen and making it such fun. I'll hope we'll be working together on other projects we have planned in the years to come. They combine magnificently with Joshua Hawthorne. I'm in awe of what Josh and Kate have done with our websites and social media. This couldn't have happened without the marvellous support of our sponsors. And I'd like especially to thank Belinda and Katie from RSL Queensland for their extra help and input. At the risk of being politically incorrect, yet again, how could an old bugger like me not enjoy working with two lovely, smart and tall girls like them? Stan Tall is really looking forward to an ongoing working relationship with the Queensland RSL. But, as usual, there is one person I really want to mention. In November of 2009, when I first spoke about PTSD and got a standing ovation from the 400 Defence cricketers, I must have struck a chord with one particular person who I think gave me a hug back then and has unconditionally supported me ever since. And we probably wouldn't have got this far as quickly if it wasn't for Sir Angus Houston. To know that I can ring him at any time is comforting as well as quite humbling. And to the lovely Annie Sutton, his wing person, thank you too. This relationship has allowed me to connect with the likes of Peter Lay, Ken Doolan, David Hurley, Mark Binskin, First Responder Commissioners, State Premiers, Brendan Nelson and also the Prime Minister. What I'm trying to say is that a simple private from the Vietnam War is able to connect with the highest officers in this land when it comes to talking about PTSD. It's that important a subject. 6 months ago, Angus asked me what happens with Stan Tall after the forum. I said we've got a 5-year plan, and we'd like to think that maybe we could be the peak body for PTSD by 2020. We're all about awareness and facilitation. We have never pretended to be about treatment or research. I think we have proved that we have the genesis of that capacity over the past few days. I have a very dedicated band of people helping me, and they are mostly volunteers. And I'm hoping that more people will want to join us after today. To my Stand Tall board of Alan, Barney, Michael and Ben, thanks for giving me a free hand while still supporting me. We have rather large plans post-forum, which I started to work on in parallel with this event 6 months ago. We want to be able to continue the awareness and help raise funds on a global scale. I'm sure that the document to come out of this forum will encourage the government to keep us all busy. Let's hope that comes out of these 2 days and will help our friends in other countries too. What do I do tomorrow? That's easy. I start planning PTSD 17, because you can bet we'll have plenty more to talk about after today. Thank you.